Hello. Please hit like button and subscribe my channel. Also press bell icon for future video notifications. Thanks.
Researchers have long known that there is a link between pancreatic injury and cancer, but the underlying mechanisms behind that connection have proven elusive. Now, a study published October 22 in Gastroenterology reveals key mutations that explain how the very cells that aid in healing can give rise to cancer, finally shedding light on a process of tumor formation and progression that's long left researchers confused. The discovery is likely going to be of lasting importance to the field, says University of Utah geneticist and pancreatic cancer researcher Charles Murtaugh, who didn't work on the study. When the pancreas is inflamed, either from physical injuries or inflammatory diseases like pancreatitis, the organ's secretory acinar cells lose their defining characteristics and revert to a stem cell-like state via a process called acinar to ductal metaplasia, ADM. From there, the cells can redifferentiate to take on new forms to promote healing. Typically, this process goes off without a hitch, but sometimes, the newly formed cells promote cancer growth, and the specific pathways of that process have remained unknown. The researchers removed the pancreases at least 1 month after they finished inducing pancreatitis and performed RNA sequencing on individual fluorescent cells. This not only identified all of the cell types the acinar cells transitioned into, it also allowed the researchers to infer the trajectory that cells followed from one intermediate form to the next. That revealed that a surprising diversity of cells, including transient intermediates that had never been spotted in this context, are formed in the aftermath of pancreatic injury. Prior to this study, the possible pathways to cancer were almost endless. One possible explanation had been that things are just so deranged that you're getting random differentiation happening, says Murtaugh. Their results suggest that it's not a random process. Instead, as the former acinar cells redifferentiate, they may pick up a mutation in the oncogene Cras that's known to be one of the major drivers of pancreatic cancer. In order to determine how the mutation interacts with the redifferentiating cells, the researchers triggered the activating mutation specifically in metaplastic acinar cells after they'd already damaged the pancreas. It does this by causing the cells to enter developmentally unstable hybrid cell states, DUHCS, which promote a constant state of inflammation that leads to tumorigenesis. Study co-author and Salk Institute for Biological Studies Professor Jeffrey Wall explains. Whether or not they had the Cras mutation, the cells sometimes became enteroendocrine cells, a type of cell typically found elsewhere in the gastrointestinal tract that secretes hormones to aid digestion and nutrition intake, making their emergence in the pancreas all the more surprising. In addition to secreting hormones, enteroendocrine cells have a sensory role, Ma explains, and he suspects the cells play a role in detecting injury and regulating the injury response. But that's just speculation, he adds. This paper only scratched the surface of what functions these metaplastic and transient cell networks perform, Ma says. So, very interesting direction moving forward would be understanding how these cells are contributing to, or regulating the disease expression. The authors say they suspect that. Indeed, they compared their findings to screens of tissue samples from human pancreatitis patients and identified many of the same cell types they'd found in mice, indicating that a similar metaplasia pathway takes place. Pancreatic cancer is particularly deadly. The American Cancer Society estimates that the disease will kill more than 48,000 Americans in 2021, and only 10% of patients live to see the 5th anniversary of their diagnosis. The challenge, Del Giorno explains, is that diseases like pancreatitis and pancreatic cancer don't cause noticeable symptoms until they've progressed into later, untreatable stages. Some of the symptoms that do occur, like the onset of diabetes and weight gain, are ambiguous and make diagnosis difficult, Wall says. Pancreatitis is a really debilitating disease, Murtaugh says. If one knew what these enteroendocrine cells are doing and whether they're enhancing or inhibiting its activity. You might be able to get pancreatitis to resolve or at least be less intense. Furthermore, Del Giorno points out that if scientists manage to identify the specific hormone signals we have cell types that are forming in really early stage disease, and we have some indication of what changes in early and late stage disease because of this study, she says, suggesting that the work could lead to a blood or urine test that screens for early stage pancreatic cancer. Please support my channel to grow by pressing subscribe button and the bell icon. We will notify you technological news. Thank you.